Hello y'all, today's a little bit different. I've bought two vehicles, one on either side of me. I'm going to show you what they are right now, so hang in there. I'm going to show you these vehicles, then we're going to try to get them running because I'm going to sell either the whole vehicle on the truck, well then I'll show you that truck. On the truck I'm probably just going to part it out. The van I may sell as a whole, so if I can get it to run and drive, I'll sell it as a whole. If not, we'll just part them both out, but we're going to try try that in English. We're going to try real hard right now to get them both running. So stay tuned. Vehicle number one, square body Chevy. If it was in better shape, I'd say we'll try to fix her up, but she is rough. She's missing pieces. There's not a whole lot that's any good on this car. I mean this truck. She just had better days, poor thing. There's really not a lot of good stuff, but I will show you one feature, maybe two, that's really good on this truck. This, number one, it is a 350 4-bolt main 4-barrel engine. So we're going to try to get this one running, but we tried to turn her over before I picked her up, and nope, she won't turn over. She's locked up. I'm hoping maybe a little bit of diesel fuel down her throat. That might hopefully get her to break loose. We're going to try real hard. We're going to start on this one, I think, because I got some batteries boiling to try to turn the other one. But this poor old girl, she's rough. She's really rough. But this is the one good point. See this bed on it? From what I understand, what the guy told me that I got it from, this bed was on an old farm truck, a 1929. I can't remember if he said it was a Ford or a Plymouth, but he said it was a 1929 something, and it was his grandfather's truck. And over the years, they just kept taking this bed off and putting it on other vehicles. So if anybody out there needs a 1929 stake body bed, which is in remarkable good shape-ish for what it is, and there was a plate here, he said it was a Fruhoff, one of those, something like that. So, but there it is. If y'all know anybody that needs an antique stake body, I believe it's 8 foot, because it's an 8-foot bed on this truck originally. So it looks like it's probably 8 by 6, maybe a little more than that. I'm going to say about 8 by 6. This is the other girl. This old vehicle ain't bad at all. She's got a little bit of rust in the rockers, but other than that, this is a pretty solid vehicle. I've got the battery boiling now. It's probably not going to come back to life. I think it had 4 bolts on it when I first plugged it in, so probably not good. But it's got a 318 that the guy swears up and down will run. So he said that about the Chevy too, but unfortunately that one with no hood, no fenders, out in the weather, no exhaust. Well, I might have an exhaust. It locked up. So, but we're going to try to get her unlocked. This is in the weeds, as you can see. I just kind of stuck her in the weeds. Wasn't real interested in the rest of the vehicle for now. But she's got some seats in her that aren't too bad. They're really grubby. And the dash is good. The old van is actually not too bad, you know. But even one of those fancy old 1970s style, maybe 80s overhead console things going on there. But not a bad looking dash in this thing at all. So if I part it out, folks, you know where to get the parts. And if I sell her whole, well, give me a call. The information for these vehicles, or anything, if you want to contact me other than in the comments, because comments is kind of for everybody. If you need to contact me, you can look in the description of these videos, and it will give you my contact information. Well, let's get started on this old Chevy, see if we can't get her to turn over. I'm just going to try real hard with a bar at first, and then we're going to try, don't mind the chickens, they're everywhere. But I'm going to try to break this one free. I'm going to take the front end off of it, make it easier to work on, so I can get right to it, take that fan off, get a breaker bar on there. So basically what you're going to be watching right now is just me take the front end off of this truck so I can get at the engine. dirt bath on that one. Sheesh. Got a breaker bar on it, and I'm going to put a equalizer on that, on top of that. I'm just going to try to turn it. The only thing about Chevrolet is they put a really small nut on their pulleys, and so you don't want to put too much torque to it because you'll snap it. Yeah, she definitely doesn't want to turn. Well, we have two options at this point. We can start pouring all sorts of loosener up juice down the neck of her and then try again, or take her apart. What do y'all think? I think we should try pouring some junk down the throat of her and see what happens. We've come this far. It's easy to work on it at this point because it's all exposed. The front end wasn't much good on this thing anyway. So I say we pour some junk down the old carburetor and see if we can't get her to loosen up. I'm going to throw down a concoction of some diesel oil, diesel fuel, and transmission fluid, automatic transmission fluid. Automatic transmission fluid is really good about loosening up transmissions, 4-speeds and stuff like that get locked up. I've tried it on a few engines, and if you've watched any of my stuck engine videos, which I've got another one coming up for a 340, I need to let them soak a little longer. I've got a 340 soaking right now, sort of. I need to put it on an engine stand and get it to soak a little better. But the reason I'm going to put diesel oil or diesel fuel is because it's thinner, and that thinner consistency will hopefully allow it to, get down inside there a little bit better. And then once that gets in there, I'm hoping that'll dilute the transmission fluid enough to get it all in there and get her loosened up. And so we're going to go ahead and pour that down in there, and then maybe we'll move over to the other vehicle and see if we can't get it to turn over while we're waiting for this one to loosen up. So let's go ahead and pour some junk down in here. This is actually a bucket of transmission fluid that I have reused numerous times on other projects. So now the reason I'm pouring it in the back barrels and not the front ones is because on these rear barrels there's not really a venturi, and I don't really want to goo up the venturis. So by putting it in the back barrels, whoops, I feel a little bit more confident, that we're good on that. Because if I pour it in the front, I'm afraid of all sorts of junk and crap, and speaking of junk and crap, I'm pouring some in there, so we don't want to do that. It's just sludgy looking stuff. Now, I'm going to pour in some of the diesel oil, diesel fluid, whatever you want to call it. And let's see. See why I took the front end off of here? This works out a lot better. There we go. Getting 50% in there, that's good. Just lube everything up. Now the diesel fuel, I don't really mind getting in the front barrels too much. There we go. Alright. see if it's running out the exhaust yet. Well, we might have a nice fire when it starts. If it is going out the exhaust. I don't see it. Yeah, it's pouring out the carburetor. I don't want to pull the plugs out yet because the plugs will allow the goo that I just put in there to come up past, because the engines are, they're slanted, And so what it allows it to do is with the plug still in there, it'll fill those cylinders up, even the shallow ones, where if you don't leave the plugs in, it's going to go up to the plug hole and run out, and that's as far as you're going to get to go. So we poured her in there, we'll let her eat for a little while, and then we'll try to turn her over again, just for kicks and giggles. It's not even budging. I don't feel like I'm putting a lot of pressure on it. But I do feel like I'm going to snap that bolt. So, like Mopars, they got like a 1-inch thread going in there, and you ain't going to snap that. You can jump up and down on that wrench, and they'll handle it. But these little spindly bolts they put on the Chevys, I don't know. She's gonna love me in my Chrysler van, and that's alright with me. Oh wait, it's not Chrysler, is it? It's Chevy, right? But I don't have a Chevy van. I have a Chrysler. And actually this van's not actually a Chrysler, is it? It's a Dodge. Well, we can make it work, I think. We try. Hey, it's what makes you happy, right? That's all that matters. Anyway, let's get this off. She's been boiling at 10 amps for a few hours now. I'm going to put the old Charge-O-Matic here and see just what kind of a battery we got. We don't want to waste our time if we don't have enough juice to do what we got to do. I'm trying to avoid going into town and buying another battery. I've got to get one for the Gremlin anyway. Oh man, she's a not a good. She's a not a good at all. I don't know if you can see that, but in fact, let me show you, because you got to see this. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but yeah, let's see if it clears up, because this camera doesn't do good close-ups. But the needle is way over here, and it's supposed to be like here, and it's way over here, meaning that this battery is dead shorted, so it's kaput. Not so good, man. If I take this off, watch the needle. Needle, well, actually, maybe that made me a liar. It's just dead. D-E-D, dead. Okay, D-E-A-D, dead. Yeah, there's nothing to it. It's got nothing. She's like way not on the scale. It's supposed to be, here somewhere. So, try another one. We'll try again. This is a little bit better. Let's see if I can get this to focus. Probably, no, that gets worse. Well, anyway, needle's here. Way over in the 13, almost 14 volt range. That means this one's good, but I've got this little button down here that when I press it, it's going to tell me if this will handle it, the starter. So you press this, oh yeah, it's still good. She's dropping pretty quick, but if I keep a charger on it, she's staying pretty good. It's not real strong, but I picked up this little baby at a swap meet or going out yard sale or something like that, and I think I paid like $10 for it. If you ever see one of these old girls, I highly recommend you buy it, because you can test, make believe put a load on it. When you press that button, that's what it does. It's putting a load on it like the starter, and if it stays within range, that battery's going to work. This battery's a little sketchy because she's going down to about 11.8 when I hit that little load doodah. But it's good if I keep the charger on it on boost. I think we're going to be okay. So let's go ahead and put her in the Chrysler or Dodge, because I guess nowadays vans are made by Chrysler, but back then it's only Dodge, right? So anyway, let's put it in this Dodge and see what happens. Before I crank on the old key, oh, that's not a good sign. Uh-oh. That's not good at all. There's no Earl. But there is plenty of water looking stuff in there. Aside from the mosquitoes eating me. If you can see this, she's she's rusty all the way to here, and the rest of this doesn't look that good either. So let's put her back in and see if I can get a little bit of oil on here anyway. If not, we'll try adding a little bit, see what it looks like. Yeah. It's not good. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got sort of oil. More like dirty, rusty, I don't know what you want to call it. So I don't know if we want to risk wasting a quart of oil on this or not. Because she's pretty much dry down in there. I don't know. What do you all think? I think that's bad. I think that's very bad. I'm going to try adding 1 quart. I guess it's worth $3 or $4 or whatever a quart is to find out. But it looks not good. There's no water in the radiator either, so I think she's going to be a non-runner. But let's throw a quart of oil in it and see what happens. Okay, I cheaped out. I actually have a little funnel that you take all of your oil and you flip it upside down in it, and after you empty them, you know, and it'll take the residue and it'll drip it into an empty can. And so I actually salvaged these 2 cans. They're both half. They're both halves. But these are actually the leftovers from the. Let me try to say this in English because it's just not coming out. From the residual oil of the ones we tip upside down and let them run down this funnel. You can put 4 or 5 quarts in there at a time, and it'll drip down in the funnel, and the funnel funnels into an empty bottle, and you get all the new old oil, if you will, just the residue that's in each can. And after maybe 25 or 30 empty bottles of oil, you'll actually get a full can of oil, but it's all mixed. You got 1040 and 2050, and you got synthetic, and you got regular, and you get transmission fluid, and you get, you know, you get whatever. But for what we're doing here, it'll be fine. And actually, some people recommend throwing a can of transmission fluid in with every oil change, or maybe half of one. It's like putting Murphy's mystery oil in there, or Marvel. I always say Murphy. I don't know, Marvel mystery oil. And it's like putting that in there, and that's supposed to help. I don't know. I've never done it, but I've heard people who have. So okay, we threw a little oil in there. Let's throw the dipstick back in there and see if things have improved. That wasn't very much. I think it was probably less than a quart, but I just want to see if it shows up. I don't mind throwing another quart down there if I need to. I threw another quart in. There we go. And yeah. Well, that's almost oil. It's not. It's on the dipstick and it's almost liquidy looking. So I think it'll be safe to see if it'll turn over. If she turns, great. Sun's big time in my eyes. It's kind of hard to film at this time of day because the sun's just like in your face or in the camera, and you'll be looking at a big glare. So I guess the glare will be in my eyes instead of your face. But I'm going to turn her over. Don't have a lot of hope in this, but we're going to give it a shot. Just going to click her, see if she'll turn. If I can get it to go vroom vroom, I'm not starting it. Just whir whir, I guess would be the whir whir. Well, anyway, just turn over once. Then I know she's free. If she's free, then I'll go ahead and drain the oil and flush her out a little bit and put a little go juice in there and see if I can't get it to start. But with the oil in the condition it's in right now, if she doesn't turn, there's just no point. It's a 318. It's not worth a whole lot of money. It'd be more advantageous to yank it and put another one in there or rebuild or whatever. It's just not worth the effort to try to get her running. The van's pretty decent. I might just sell the whole body as is for an enthusiast that loves vans, because she's pretty nice, really. She just needs good cleaning. But if she'll start up and run, well, that's that much better. So let's give it a shot. Keep your fingers crossed. And we'll put a little more time and effort into it if she'll turn. Hooked up my little do-it-yourselfer button here. So, because if you look over here, the ignition, it's kind of doesn't do anything. It's like just kind of spins. Doesn't really do anything. So we're gonna go right here with my little do-it-yourself button. And this is the moment of truth. We're gonna see if this engine will turn over. The guy I got this from swears up and down this engine will run. He says it hasn't got but 35,000 or 30-something thousand miles on it. He says he would be very surprised if it doesn't run. So you remember looking at the dipstick and how not pretty that was. So I don't want to really run it. I just want to see if it'll turn over. This is the moment of truth. When I push this button, that is going to tell me if I can keep going on this van or if she's getting towed to the parts department and just get parted out. What do y'all think? Is she going to work? Are we ready? 1, fingers crossed. 2, 3. Well, I'll be. Woohoo! Houston, we have ignition. I guess the next step is going to be see if we can't get her to light off. Alright, now I'm probably going to get zapped because I always do. I'm going to see if we got some spark at the coil. Ready? Nothing. Not a thing. So that means my ignition system is not good. Not good at all. Probably because she's not on. Because I can't get any kind of ignition lights, camera action, anything like that off this ignition. So I gotta figure out a way to wait a minute. Well, we got wires undone over here. I do have the ignition box right here. So what I think I'm gonna do is take these 2 screws out, pull this box down, and see if I can't put this into run mode mechanically. Yeah, mechanically, something like that. Anyhow, we're going to take these 2 little 5/16 screws out of here and then see if I can't just hot wire it through that box right there. Alright, let's go ahead and put this thing into run mode. Whoop. Alright, and then we put this here. Woo! She got spark, baby. Alright. Now it's time for some go-go juice. Let's shut the ignition back off. Alright, let's go get some gasoline. She's sparking at the distributor. I mean at the coil, but not at the distributor. I don't know. That rotor button's pretty sad looking. Otherwise, not too bad. Maybe the magnet is shot in this thing. Whoa, hear that? I've got juice in there somewhere. Oh, that is good news. Let's put some fuel in there. Woo, baby. She's gonna run. I got a good feeling. Alright. Fire in the hole. Oh, what a beautiful sound that is. What a beautiful sound that is. Woohoo! Just so I can listen to it one more time. And then we're going to call it good, folks, because she's got some nasty, nasty oil in there. And I don't want to run it long with that. So, here we go. One more time. Wow, she sounds good. I think she's pulling from the tank. There's no way it's running that long on that little bit I poured in there. And it's idling. Wow. He didn't lie. She's a running. She's a runner. Woohoo! Okay. We'll call that good. We can sell her as a running engine. And let's go over to the Chevy and see if we can get it running today. That one was a little more of a challenge. I filled this engine up with fluids. Probably wouldn't be a good idea to try to fire it up like we did the old van, because that's nice, because she's got all that in there. And there is like oil all over this plug. Oh, golly. Oh my. Ugh. Good heavens to Murgatroyd, Batman. Oh, that made it easy. Maybe I'm just weak. There we go. It's so nice to not have fenders to lean on. Oh my. Nothing came out. That's not a good sign. Take a look at that. Not good. Pretty ugly. Oh, that's even worse. Here's the moment of truth. See if we can't get her to come to break loose. Come on. There we go. By the way, my equalizer bar, that's a front drive shaft to a CJ5 Jeep. Just in case you were wondering, if it looks familiar to some of y'all. Ready? Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby, light my fire. Oh, she ain't budging. I'm just gonna end up snapping that bolt, I think. So she's not gonna be a runner. One good, one bad. Do I continue to try and snap that bolt, which will make the core even suckier, So I don't think we'll do that because I can still sell it as a core. Pull this engine out, take it apart. You know, my videos of taking engines apart, if she's truly a 4-bolt main, it'd be well worth putting the time into. So, let's give it one more royal effort. Nope. Definitely not. Not even want to try. Well, folks, one success, one failure. One good, one not so good. The good thing about it is the 318 wasn't worth, money-wise, they're not worth putting a lot of time and effort into. But as you saw, we didn't have to put a lot of time. I actually, and I deleted it, or I will delete it, was going to give up long ago when I couldn't get it to start with the key and it was all messed up. It was getting late and I was getting tired. So I was fixing to give up and just say, you know what, neither one of these engines run. But the good thing about sleeping on it is you think sometimes when you're sleeping or going to sleep, and I realized this is a van, because I knew I could get out my little, one-person button there, and I just didn't feel like crawling underneath it. Yeah, lazy, right? Because there's other stuff I want to do. I want to work on the Gremlin, and we just developed another problem with one of the Corvettes. And we won't get into that. That's going to be a whole nother episode because I'm about ready to cry about that one. But anyway, the 318 wasn't worth putting a lot of time into. I was about ready to give up. When I woke up in the morning, I realized, you know what? It's a van. I could just pull that cover off. I should be able to reach the starter right there. And sure enough, I could. It wasn't that easy to get to it, but I was able to get to it, as you saw. With very little effort at that point, I got her to run. We got spark at the coil. Once we got that, I had to bypass the resistor. Those resistors, they'll get a little corrosion on them and they won't work, or they won't work enough. So what I did is I took a 20 amp fuse and bypassed the, one of those spade fuses, and I bypassed it with one of those, and figured it'll blow if too much current goes through it. I'll need to get a resistor for it, or somebody else can if they want to restore this van. Nonetheless, one good, one bad. The good thing about the Chevy being the bad one is it's a 4-bolt main, 350. I just sold one the other day apart. I took it apart and sold it as a short block, and I think I sold one naked block too. So as long as the block is salvageable, I'll get my money back out of that one. I won't make a whole lot of money on it, but I'll get my money back out of it. The Chrysler van, I think that was a good parts investment, even if it didn't run. But now that it does run, I might, let somebody buy it as a whole, because if you buy it as a whole, you can restore it, and that saves one more antique car. That's the end of this episode. Thank you for watching. If you are not already a subscriber, please do so. That really helps me out. I'm looking to try to get 1,000 viewers. Now, if you're watching this in the future, then I'll be saying 1,000. I might have 1,000,000 by then. Who knows? I hope. It would be nice. But my goal is 1,000 before the end of the year, which is not too far away. So if we can get 1,000 subscribers before then, I'd be ecstatic, and I would have nobody to thank but you all. And as always, if you don't like the videos, just don't watch them.